To all my loyal viewers, supporters, the ones that we are watching now say nothing, no worry, still as soon. Love on the same way. To all my new subscribers, my potential subscribers, what are you waiting for? Click that notification bell. Up, the kitchen will get started and we have some nice things are going on in there. And for all of the people them way,
love them belly.
yeah man, the show will start.
Welcome everybody to Dean's Kitchen. Today we are going to be making cinnamon pull-apart bread. If you like cinnamon bread, give this video a thumbs up. Let's go!
Alright, so to make our cinnamon pull-apart bread, we are going to start off with some basic ingredients. We have here 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now you can actually use bread flour if you're able to get that, or not. If you can actually use regular baking flour, that's fine as well. But we just need 3 cups and a little extra for when we're kneading our dough. For this, we have 2/3 of a cup of warm milk. It's about 110 degrees roughly, because we don't want it too hot because that will kill our yeast, so we have to be very careful. Just a little hotter than room temperature, or should I say a little warmer than room temperature, and you'll be fine. In this, we have a 1/4 cup or 3
Half of sugar.
tablespoons of sugar actually. For this, we have some melted butter. We have 1/4 cup of melted butter. We have 2 beaten eggs right here. We're going to be using about a teaspoon of vanilla, 2.5 teaspoons of, this is actually instant yeast. You can use active yeast, that's perfectly fine. And this is about a teaspoon of salt. But rather, it's half a teaspoon of salt. And that will make our dough. Now for our filling, we're going to kind of play with it a little bit. We have the basic ingredients, which is sugar. So here we have some sugar. This is about 2/3 a cup of sugar. We have about 3 tablespoons of cinnamon powder. And then we have a 1/4 cup of softened butter. This is unsalted butter, by the way. Now, for the filling, we are going to experiment with some homemade strawberry jam. Right? And, of course, just a few.
Cups of water.
No,
Oh, chocolate.
it's chocolate chip, rather.
But
And we have 1 egg. Now this egg is actually used for our egg wash. You will see how we made that pretty quick. We just beat it out, rub it on the top, gives it a nice golden color, and we're ready to go.
okay, let's start.
Alright, so we're going to begin with our milk. Now, as I mentioned, this is actually instant yeast. We don't need to bloom it, but just in case you're using active yeast, I'm going to show you how we go ahead and bloom it. So first, we're going to add our sugar, which is something for yeast to feed on. We're going to give this a little stir. And then we are going to add our yeast. Mix that up real quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and set this aside.
Yeah, we'll use something else in the meantime.
Alrighty, so normally if you're using active dry yeast, it's gonna form some bubbles on the top, but as I mentioned, we're using instant yeast, so we don't have to wait for that. So for active yeast, we'd say we'd give it about 10 minutes and then you'll see it starting to form. But otherwise, it's good. You can go ahead with that. To that mixture, we're gonna add our beaten eggs.
Flour?
Our melted butter.
Yellow. Flour now?
Not yet. And around a teaspoon of vanilla essence.
we're gonna whisk away.
Alright, now to our whisk batter here, we're gonna go ahead and add our flour.
Ooh, it's getting so floury that I can't see the bottom anymore.
Add the remainder of the flour. And then we're gonna add our salt. So the main reason why we leave our salt for last is because we do not want to add our salt directly to our yeast. That will actually kill our yeast in our dough, and we don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and bring this together. Yes, don't be afraid to use some clean hands. Just bring it together really well. Then set it aside on a clean surface. Add some flour. And we're going to knead our dough for about 5 to 10 minutes. Till your dough is smooth and soft and is no longer sticking to your hands. It might look a little sticky at first or feel a little difficult at first, but the longer you knead it, the better it will feel. So this is after about 4 minutes of kneading. Yeah, it tires you out, but you get the hang of it. If you realize it's no longer sticking to my hand, but it's still not yet ready, I have about another 4 or 6 roughly minutes to go. I have a little bit of flour here to just dust my hands from time to time. Just pull apart and go. So we're gonna go a little longer. And then we will be ready to go. Oh, I didn't mention I have my bench scraper. It just helps to get any sticking dough off my surface. So keep doing this for another 3 minutes or so. And I'll be back and we'll look at it. All right, so this is now 10 minutes of kneading. And what we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna set it nicely in a ball. Then we have a bowl. You can use just a little tip of olive oil or some melted butter. This is just to ensure that when it is risen, it doesn't stick to the pan when we turn it over. So we're gonna get our dough, which is nice and smooth. It's no longer sticking to my hand. Drop it in the center. We're gonna cover it with a cling wrap. Then we're gonna go ahead and set it to proof in a nice warm place for 1 hour and 30 minutes, and you'll be right back.
It's time to make the filling, right, Auntie Anya?
That is correct. So to make our basic filling, because remember, we're also gonna be using homemade strawberry jam and chocolate chip. But that's after we're done making our base filling. So now the first we're gonna add our sugar and our cinnamon powder. And we're gonna make our cinnamon sugar. Everything in there. Mix it all together. We're gonna do a thorough mix because we wanna ensure we combine everything. You ensure you get rid of any lumps that you might spot. Really get it all in there. So this is our cinnamon sugar. Now we have two options in actually spreading or filling. We can either spread the butter straight onto our dough, or we can do it this way, where we add our butter, softened butter, into our mixture. Then we cream it together to make it much easier to spread. Way easier to spread. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Might seem a little hard at first, but don't worry, just keep mixing, you'll get it. Alright, so here we have our cinnamon filling or cinnamon filling mixture. We're going to go ahead and set this aside and get ready to roll out our dough. That's it.
Thanks again for tuning into Dean's Kitchen. Please remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell for any new content we drop. Yeah, man. Alright, like, share, leave your comments below. Any questions or queries. Respect.